So usually Mars spent around 6 to 7 weeks in each of the zodiac signs, but the last time that Mars was entering Cancer, he slowed down, he turned retrograde, and then he kept returning to the same part of the sky over and over again. And when I see a pattern like that, I find that it is the sky asking us to pay specific attention to that area. And now we have Mars moving into the sign of Cancer, this time without any retrograde, from August the 11th to September the 27th. So this is going to be a significant time that holds some karmic echoes from what started in 2024 when Mars were moving into Cancer. So I find this quite peculiar because usually we talk about how Mars is highly debilitated, doesn't like to be in Cancer, but there is a greater wisdom here. There is something that needs to learn how to merge in a healthy way, because Mars usually is the boundaries, it's the planet of war, it's protection, it's going for it, it's ignition. And then we have Cancer that are emotions and slowing down and water, and those two just doesn't naturally go hand in hand. But the question more is, on a collective level, what have we been tolerating that we should not tolerate? And where are we being emotionally manipulated, perhaps to act in a certain way, to give our energy away on a certain level? And personally, of course, this could be in regards to, depending on your rising sign and of course the aspects in your personal birth chart, this could hold significant karmic echoes from something that you might have felt since 2024, September, October 2024, and is now resurfacing for you to take a full look at it. And whatever might be affected the most for you, I would say use this period of time to work with that pattern, because we cannot change the collective without changing ourselves first. And that's why I'm so keen and so passionate about making these small astrological check-ins whenever I see something unusual on the sky. So use this guide for your rising sign. You can also listen afterwards for your sun sign, perhaps even your moon sign, to get an idea of which area in life might be affected in regards to this duality between Mars, that is like fire, and Cancer, that is water, and see how those two can learn to merge and work together and find a resolution where it's needed. This is also what I call karmic medicine, and it's extremely important right now. And please remember to like and subscribe and share this video if it is helpful for you. And let's dive into each of the 12 signs. Aries risings. So for you, this is all about the 4th house matters, and it's about your emotional foundation in particular. You might feel some need to really reflect on what makes you feel like you are safe and nourished and good in this world. There might have been some patterns in regard to your roots or your family or your home environment since 2024 that has been playing out, maybe even in what we can call a karmic way. So really consider, are there any patterns that you have noticed that keeps repeating on a loop for you? It could be anything from a housing situation or something that emotionally triggers you. It could be that you are feeling stuck in an emotional sensation for quite a long time, and that it's something that really stirs your sense of belonging, your feeling of being on the right path. And particularly for you, Aries rising, some of you will also notice that since 2024, you have been faced with a question about, can you accept things as they were unfolding? And can you trust that everything is here to help you go deeper into why your soul reincarnated at this moment in time on Earth? I know these can be some really triggering periods of time, because especially for you, when it's in regards to your roots, there could even be questions about your cellular memory, because now, for instance, science has proved that at least up to 3 generations we carry memories from our ancestry, and those memories can be activated in our current experience. So really be aware of, do you have periods of time, particularly since 2024, where there tend to be some karmic patterns in relation to feeling either betrayed or not good enough, or feeling that you don't belong anywhere? Could there be some past hurts in regards to your roots and your foundation? It can be anything from this innocence of everything around me is fine, but I just don't feel like I belong. Or it could be that you just never felt like you belonged anywhere in your life growing up, and now it's up to you with this shift and Mars to say what is worth fighting for. You know, how do I create a home that is safe and nourishing and good for me? So those will be the themes playing out for you, Aries rising. It's particularly important that you pay attention to sensations in your body, like do you have tensions in specific areas, because your body speaks loudly with Mars in Cancer, and emotional memory might be stuck in your body. So a tense shoulder is not just a tense shoulder, it's really an emotion that might need to be faced. So looking into journaling, therapy, just being in nature, doing things that makes you feel good would be incredibly useful for you in this period of time, Aries rising. For you, Taurus rising, there might be some old wounds in regards to the way that you communicate and express yourself that comes up and can feel particularly triggering right now. You might feel that your voice is blocked, or that you have a hard time getting people to listen to you. It could also just be in general that you find out that your own mindset, the way that you think of yourself, is working against you to an extent where you're not really growing, and Mars wants you to learn how to defend your own boundaries in a healthy way. That perhaps when you feel anger, there might be someone who crossed your boundary, and in order to regain your strength again and not lose your voice, you need to communicate, hey, you hurt me and that was not okay. There could be something specifically in daily conversations where you start noticing that either there are some triggerings or things you just can't express. Maybe you have some emotional needs that you now are aware of that no one listens to, or maybe you don't listen to it. And I would also pay close attention to the stories that you tell yourself. Go back to 2024, 2025, and see if there are certain scenarios where you keep yourself stuck, where you keep yourself small, and take an honest and sober look at what is the story behind this. Maybe you feel you're not worthy, maybe you feel you are not loved, maybe you feel like there's a story that you tell yourself about, I'm too young for this, I'm too old for that, this is not possible. Now is a great time to use the Mars energy to learn to hold those emotions while also questioning whether the stories are true or not, or perhaps maybe they just reinforce an emotional sensation that you're so familiar with that you didn't even question it before. It can feel very karmic around those patterns. And lastly, I would say for you, Taurus rising, it could also be that you have some siblings or people in your near neighborhood or environment that are just genuinely triggering for you, because you can have the sensation that they don't listen to you and you're sort of swimming against the current here. If that's the case, work on your way of communicating and become crystal clear in what do I actually need. Even if that's just you writing down in a journal that, I really need someone to listen to me. Because the moment you have it out on paper, your voice is being heard, at least for yourself, and that's medicine in itself. So that's what I have for you, Taurus rising. Gemini rising, you might be feeling a bit of frustration or emotional disturbance in regards to anything about your income, your money, your personal belongings and values, and also the feeling of self-worth in regards to your security when it comes to your resources. And pay close attention to the period around September 2024, also particularly October, November. Did anything happen in that period of time that made you feel, unsafe, or like you didn't have enough? Or did something happen in regards to finances, money in that period of time that made you have an emotional reaction that was quite strong? Or were there anything in 2025, particularly perhaps in March and April, also in regards to the sense of safety, resources, your self-worth? Because now Mars come in Cancer, and he has been in retrograde the last years, and he's coming to confront you with the sensation of, am I allowed to earn this amount of money? Am I allowed to have these dreams? Am I too much? Am I asking too much? How am I gonna do it? And it's very important that if you hold a dream in your heart and you know that you need certain resources to fulfill that dream, that you work on your emotions of self-worth. How do you feel about yourself? Are there any hidden beliefs in that area that limited you, that feels like, it can happen to anyone else but me? I really want this thing, but I just can't see how it's gonna happen. Pay close attention to that. Pay close attention to how you feel when you receive something physical, like a gift or a compliment, or someone tells you, can I buy you a cup of coffee? Do you like this dress? Because I want to get it for you. How do you feel in your body even thinking about it? Are you able to receive? Because this will really, really be connected to your ability to receive without restricting yourself. And your body will show you if you feel contraction, if you feel shame, if you feel tense when you think of getting what you truly want, maybe even saying what you truly want, then you have your answer that there is something on an emotional level that is blocking you. And with Mars coming in the sign of Cancer now, that is almost as if it has an echo of some sort of karmic loop. You have been here before, you felt this before, and it's undeniable now, Gemini risings. And this is an opportunity for you to spend these weeks to really reevaluate, what do I truly want? How much do I want to earn? What is security for me? And first and foremost, can I allow myself to receive? Can I work on my self-worth so that I am receptive to what I truly want? Because otherwise, this will feel like a very disturbing time where there's a lot of friction and emotional turbulence. So this is what I have for you, Gemini rising. Take good care of yourself during this time. Show yourself compassion, and don't be afraid to reach for the stars. My Cancer rising, so there seems to be something about your body, your confidence, your identity, maybe even your independence that is being highly affected or highlighted under this influence of Mars being in Cancer. And if you listen to the intro, which I highly recommend, you will see that it seems almost as if Mars is sending some karmic echoes from 2024, 2025, that you will now be confronted with. And this is a possibility for you to, once and for all, really get some sort of resolution. And I would say there could be particularly something in regards to your health habits. Maybe you have had a lack of energy, or for some people it could even be that you have faced a level of illness or infection or something unexplainable since end of 2024, particularly October, November, where your body has felt either, inflamed, bloated, as if something is just not flowing. And if that's the case for you, Cancer risings, I want you to really pay attention to how you speak to yourself. If you have healthy boundaries in regards to how you treat yourself and talk to your body. Because if you go to the gym, and this is just one example, and you constantly tell your body you are not good enough, you should lose weight, you should gain weight, you look like this or you look like that, and you work out, that workout is not really healthy emotionally for your body. You might be able to, get the cardio on, but it's not really good on a cellular level. So now is a time to confront those patterns where perhaps your identity is so tied to what your body looks like that you are almost punishing yourself and your body for not acting or being like you think it's supposed to be. It could also be that you have faced health issues and you've become very frustrated with yourself to an extent where, because you have health issues, you're no longer speaking kindly to yourself because you got so frustrated now that you tried everything. There's an opportunity to find a resolution here. Of course, get the treatments and all the advice that you can get if that's the case. And if it has nothing to do with health for you, Cancer rising, it will be in regards to your day-to-day habits, how you work through, how you go through the world. There's something in regards to your identity that perhaps can stir up some emotional turbulence. Again, how do you speak to yourself on a daily level? How do you allow other people to speak to you? Do you have healthy boundaries when it comes to your emotions? Do you tend to get perhaps intertwined too much with other people's emotions and their subconscious patterns, and then it leaves you drained at the end of the day? Well, Mars here in Cancer, at this last loop of some karmic sequences, really allows you to once and for all see this pattern clearly. And once you do, there's a possibility for a resolution to stop reinforcing and doing the same and have some healthy boundaries. So that's the themes for you, Cancer rising. For you, Leo rising, you might be feeling something unconscious come up to the surface in regards to healing and endings and solitude. Maybe there are some hidden fears that have been holding you back. You also have a great opportunity for emotional release, because if you look back to around September 2024, I want you to really feel into whether there were some emotional patterns or things that you started to work on. It could be that you either started a new healing practice, or perhaps you were doing, some work on yourself that you haven't yet seen the breakthrough from, but this breakthrough is very, very close. I want you to really hold on to what you have been doing that is working for you, and be okay with particularly some endings in how you maybe subconsciously have been treating yourself. Because sometimes when we go through a longer period of time of threading different layers, working on ourselves, thinking differently, we can come to a stagnation point where we feel like the things that we truly want is not really showing up. And this can be an extremely frustrating period of time, because, it is starting to affect our subconscious again, and we start asking questions about, is what I'm doing worth it? Maybe some old fears are coming up again that you need to confront. It's almost like this final test before you will start to see that you have an opportunity now to walk into life from a new standpoint. This is very much connected to your 12th house matters. This is the unconscious. This is where everything that is holding you back and seems like it's doing so on a hidden basics it comes to the surface now, and it might feel temporarily painful, but I want you to know that this with Mars in Cancer is here to bring it to the surface so that you can get your resolution, so that you can get your final ending of that pattern. For you, it could be particularly useful to do a little ritual saying goodbye to parts of yourself that is no longer serving you to where you want to go, and doing some healing work, like some walking in nature, perhaps some yoga, some meditation, some breath work, anything that can lead you to have some level of emotional release, because there is some build up here that is ready to get out of your energy field. And if you work consciously with it, there will be a beautiful ending for you in regards to that Leo rising. For you, Virgo rising, this could be a period of time where there's something in regards to your community, your long-term goals, maybe your social circles and friendships that is coming to the surface, and it might stir up some emotional response. If you look back to particularly October, November 2024, and again in March, April 2025, did you have anything that either triggered you or something in regards to friendships that came up in that period of time? If so, this will be a clue on what you can now integrate and work with moving ahead. So let's say that this period of time you became aware of what kind of community can I engage with, and what kind of community makes me feel less and I don't want to engage with it. What kind of friendship and groups do I want to participate in? It could even be your own long-term dreams and goals that has been under reconstruction in this period of time. Perhaps you started to take on a different role in the public. It could even be that you are taking on leadership in a sense of social circles, but you have been doubting whether this is the right direction for you, because it might have been stirring up some new emotional things that you were not aware of before. Because having Mars in 2024, periods of 2025, retrograding in the sign of Cancer for an unusual long period of time will have made you aware of emotional boundaries. What is worth fighting for? What do I not engage with? What do I give my energy to? Who might I be too entangled with to an extent where it's draining me on an emotional level? And if these things have been sort of working in the background since then, well, now August will feel a bit like an echo of that time, a culmination point where you do need to make a statement for yourself on what feels right for you and what doesn't feel right for you. This is not a time for you to negotiate with your emotional boundaries, and it's not a time for you to negotiate in what you feel is right for you in regards to your long-term dreams and how you're gonna get there. It might even be that you are being confronted with things of limiting nature from your own way of treating yourself. And if that's the case, spend some time on understanding the emotions that comes to the surface right now for you, Virgo rising, because this can be very valuable insights into your psyche, and it can be an insight that can carry you into a new role in your community and your friendships that will feel much more satisfying than the one that you've had up until now. So that's what I have for you, Virgo risings. For Libra risings, well, I want you to pay attention to anything in regards to your career, your reputation, and your public life, even your purpose in life, the ambitions that you have, and things in regards to that where you need to take more leadership, because there is a very karmic resolution coming in for you right now in regards to those areas that gives you the opportunity to change a very deep pattern in regards to your emotional landscape, the way that you defend what you truly believe in from an emotional perspective. So, for instance, it could be, if you look back to 2024, particularly October, November, and then again to 2025 around March and April, did you have anything happening in regards to your career, your public life, or just your sensation of purpose? And did it stir up some emotional things that you might have felt were restricting you, blocking you? Did you feel a sense of stuckness in this area? Have you felt that you are maybe a little lost, or that you're not moving ahead in the way that you wish? If that's the case, a big opportunity in regards to looking at it differently, having some emotional release. You know those sensations where something suddenly becomes very clear for you. It could be that you have been carrying like a certain tension in your shoulders, and you go to have a massage, and the person tells you, do you know how much tension you have in your shoulders? And once you realize it, you cannot not pay attention to it. Well, your emotions work the same way. So let's say that you realize, I'm extremely frustrated in the way that my career is, or how I show up, or even my own ambitions. And this period of time in August, you will really feel that you become so clear about what it is that is bothering you on an emotional level that you cannot just put it away. And now you have the awareness to work with it. And many people would say, yeah, but I know, but how do I work with it? And I'm going to give you the advice that can feel the most frustrating, but also most liberating. You need to feel the emotions that are difficult. You need to be okay with feeling disappointed in yourself or in others, in your career, in your business. If you have reached a certain level in your career life, and you're not satisfied with it, you cannot let any new experiences come to you if you're not willing to grieve the fact that you have met a dead end and you are not interested in taking it any further. But there needs to be this emotional acknowledgement, because otherwise it's like saying that, oh, I'm just gonna pretend it doesn't exist. But when you do that, you also pretend like your true desires and your new goals doesn't exist. So for you, Libra rising, this is extremely important to pay attention to in this period of time. Scorpio risings, you might need to set some boundaries in regards to your belief system, or it could be in regards to the way that you have been practicing spirituality and the way that you view the world. There might be some tough emotions coming up for you in regards to, am I believing this anymore? Does this feel right for me? It can even be, let's say that you've been someone who has been traveling a lot and you realize this doesn't fulfill you anymore. It actually makes you more stressed out, or the opposite, that you have not been traveling despite of you having a calling to do so. This time is particularly important to make an emotional assessment of where are you in those areas in life right now, and do they still fill you up with joy and happiness, and do you still feel that you are on the right track? Because if you look back to around September and then again October, November 2024, and then particularly again in March, April 2025, there might be some echoes from this period of time where you made some choices, you faced something, or maybe you traveled, maybe you took on a new education, maybe you changed your view on something, and now it comes back to you to ask you, is this emotionally fulfilling for me? And if that's the case, you might still need to set some boundaries in regards to how you involve yourself emotionally. Could be that you get extremely drained. Let's say you are a teacher, let's say you are traveling a lot and you find yourself emotionally just drained despite of you loving what you do. Well, having Mars coming into Cancer here in August will ask you to reassess how you work with that. Do you need to make some choices that can sustain you better so that you don't drain yourself out of the back door? Do you need to have some difficult conversations with yourself and the way that you view life. And perhaps even, do you need to make some changes in regards to travel? For some of you, it might even be that you have relocated to a different country far away, and you find out that it has not been fruitful for you, and that you are emotionally a bit of a wreck around this area. And if that's the case, look at yourself right now in a very compassionate manner and say, you know what, I made those choices that I had to make at the point in time, but for now I think I want something different. Because sometimes when we have invested in a lot of things that we thought was right for us, we focus too much on the investment and then stay stuck, rather than looking at, you know what, I'm just gonna take my losses and keep going and building on that foundation. So that's what I would be focusing on, Scorpio rising, and those might be the areas that are mostly affected with Mars in Cancer here in August, in that period of time. So pay attention to that. For you, Sagittarius rising, there could be some uncomfortable emotional situations in regards to your attachments, your attachment styles, in regards to dependency or being too independent, in regards to trust and intimacy, and in general perhaps even grief, because this Mars in Cancer will highly activate a psychological transformation for you that has been taking place since around September, October 2024, then being highlighted again in around March, April 2025. And now it's coming back for you to sort of integrate and take an honest assessment of what has been going on in my intimate life, what has been going on in my psychology. You know, how do I connect to the people closest to me? Perhaps you have a spouse and you feel that either you are keeping things to yourself and not opening up as much as you could. It could be that there's something about shared finances where you feel perhaps too dependent, or maybe you want to invest more. If that's the case, take an honest look at it right now, Sagittarius rising. It can feel very emotionally uncomfortable, but you might need to set some better boundaries in regards to how you feel, how you express your emotions, how you come about other people that are close to you. And this is important, particularly to yourself, how you trust yourself. Do you trust that you have changed? Do you trust that if you feel that there's something wrong, there is something wrong? You know, because this will be affecting your 8th house, and it's not always so obvious to us. Things in the 8th house can feel like it's a taboo. You know, it can really bring up some harsh emotional truths that can feel quite shocking once we see them for what it is. It can feel a bit like an emotional sobering of something that you know have been going on for quite a while, and you know it's for the better that you see it, but then at the same time it has felt most comfortable to keep those dynamics hidden. And so for you, you will feel the most resolution on this if you take the time to be honest with yourself. Journal about it. If you're sad, be sad. If you're angry, be angry. If you feel grief and loss, allow yourself to have those emotions, because sometimes emotional boundary setting is also in regard to how we treat ourselves. You know, do you shut yourself down every time you are emotional? Because now you need to set some boundaries around not being so harsh on yourself, and allowing yourself to feel those things and those sides of life that are less satisfying, but nonetheless on the other side of feeling it, you will have an extreme level of, you know, newfound liberation, newfound freedom that you didn't even think was possible, and is something that is so priceless, because when we set ourselves free emotionally, there's suddenly also space to have a different kind of life experience. So that will be very highlighted for you, Sagittarius rising. My Capricorn risings. Okay, so there might be something in regards to your closest friendships, your romantic relationships, maybe if you're married, your marriage life, and some sort of business partnerships that needs to be brought into light right now. It could be that you are sensing a certain level of emotions coming to the surface, and it might not be so easy to work with because it can feel very intense. If you look back to September 2024 and then again to around the spring of 2025, did you have anything going on in regards to your closest friendships or marriage or your relationships here? If you're not in a close relationship, there could still be something in regards to the way that you seek to be in relationships, the way that you either date or the types that you meet over and over again. And this might be connected to how you feel in close connections. What are the emotions when you are just with yourself? What do you believe? And what is that belief making you feel? So, for instance, let's say that you are always someone who overgive. And you just see it playing out in your closest relationship over and over again, that every time you need something, no one is there for you. What is the emotional landscape that must be present in order for you to have those experiences? Perhaps you feel that you're not worthy of receiving the kind of love that you give. Perhaps you feel like it will never happen for you. Perhaps you feel like that, that dream you have about a business partnership working out will just never come into life. Because why would that happen to someone like you? If that's the case, there are some emotions to be worked on beneath the surface here, Capricorn rising. And I know that working on emotions can be one of the more difficult things for us as humans, because we are not taught how to handle it. And here lies the paradox as well, because all emotions want is for you to witness them. They want you to not ignore them. And it doesn't really take long. Science say now 90 seconds for an emotion to be felt and flow through your body. That's all you need. So Capricorn rising, make a little practice if some difficulties arise in that area of your life right now, to feel how you truly feel without shame, without guilt, without beating yourself up, without saying, why am I feeling like this? I shouldn't feel like that. Also, particularly if you have any desires for being, having more great friends, or meeting a great romantic partner, or having a great business deal, don't feel shameful about it. Start cultivating the emotions that will lead you closer to that, like, loving emotions towards yourself, allowing yourself to be joyful, allowing yourself to have those desires. That will be very helpful for you right now, Capricorn rising. Aquarius rising. So for you, take a good look at your daily habits, your routines, the way that you take on responsibilities in your day-to-day life. Look back to September 2024, also October, November 2024, and again 2025 in around spring of March and April. Did you change anything in your daily routines? Did you face anything health related? Did you have anything in regards to the way that you show up and give service in the world? Because right now with Cancer, Mars moving into Cancer, it's affecting your 6th house, and you will be able to get a very emotional sobering up on whether these habits and routines are truly serving you. For some of you, it could be that you have been facing some health obstacles, and you have not really been able to figure out what's been going on. Or it could just be that you have, sometimes issues in regards to setting boundaries on how much service and time you give to other people in your daily life. I would really make this time to look at if you overgive in your daily life, if you take on too many responsibilities, what are the emotions beneath it? What motivates you on an emotional level to do so? Do you believe that you have to? Do you believe that it makes you a better person to carry other people's responsibilities? Or are there anything in regards to your self-worth that you think that maybe you do not deserve to be taken care of? Maybe you don't deserve to have perfect health and radiance and work that you love on a daily basis. Those could be some of the things where Mars really asks of you to set some boundaries and say, you know what, this is worth fighting for, and that is not mine, and this is mine, and that is not mine. To really be strict about that, so that you don't leak your energy out of the back door, because the things that you do in your daily life, day to day, are the things that are most important. Those are the patterns you will see, that if you do this every single day, will it lead you towards the visions of a life that you have for yourself? If that's not the case, I would take a time right now to look at which emotions are most prevalent for me. Do I feel stagnant? Do I feel sad? Do I feel anger? Do I feel frustrated? And if that's the case, you might want to sit with those emotions a little bit longer, Aquarius rising, because those could be exactly the blockages that you need to release in order to have some breakthroughs in regards to your work, your habits, and your daily routines, perhaps even your health. So that's what I have for you, Aquarius rising. Pisces rising, so I want you to think back to what was unfolding in your life back in around September 2024, and then again in March, April of 2025. In regards to anything creative or romantic, maybe even something in relation to children, how you express yourself, how you experience true joy in your life, because this will be affecting your 5th house, and there might be some emotional things coming up for you in regards to this. Perhaps you have felt a blockage in regards to your creativity, or you could just feel that you are never really having time to enjoy life, to have pleasure in life, and just have laughter and be silly. And there could be some emotional patterning in regards to that. Look back to emotions coming to the surface for the past years, especially in the time area that I gave you here in the beginning, because that could reveal parts where you're holding yourself back in life. You know, let's say that you feel a certain sadness in regards to a creative project or something you really want to experience in regards to romance. What emotion do you feel? Is it sadness or is it anger? You know, sometimes we forget that the first emotion that comes to us might just be an emotion that covers up the real reason. Write the numbers down. What is it that you want to achieve, and why do you want to achieve it? Because Saturn can help you create that structure. Pisces rising is to work around your limitations, if you have any limitations in, you know, how you allow yourself to just do things because they are fun to do. Maybe there's a voice in your head saying, yeah, but I can't spend time on that because I'm not earning money on it. Or, yeah, why would I do that? I know no one at that party. Because those are the kind of things that might limit you from truly having new experiences in that area of your life. And Mars being here and being in the emotional sign of Cancer is asking for you to bring in boundaries both for your outer circumstances and for yourself. So boundaries for yourself can also look like, hey, I'm setting time apart every single day to enjoy myself, because I need to put a boundary on where I'm being hard on myself, where I'm not allowing myself to have joy in life. Or it could be other people eating up your time and not being very giving and not being very compassionate back in your life, and you need to set a boundary of how much time do you spend with them. Are they affecting your sense of self-expression or your sense of joy? So pay close attention to that, Pisces rising, throughout this period of time, and see make an honest assessment about how you can work with the difficult emotions as well, because all emotions want is for you to witness them, even if it's just for 30 seconds, and then you will see that you can start to allow new life experiences coming in regards to enjoying life and having more romance. So isn't that wonderful, Pisces rising? Enjoy this time. There might be a few obstacles, but it will lead you on to a much more fulfilling and happy road.